How to write an outweigh essay for the IELTS writing test. G'day, I'm 𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗘𝗘. I've been an examiner in Adelaide and Taipei City. Now I'm presenting videos to teach you how to write the 6 common types of essays that you're likely to encounter in your IELTS writing test. Let's look at what we're going to do today. First of all, I'm going to teach you how to identify an outweigh type of essay and how you can know it's this type of question and not another kind of question. I'm going to teach you how to make an effective plan for this type of essay, how to structure it. Then I'm going to present you with a sample answer and go through it step by step so that you can understand how you can write this type of essay. Stick around. At the end, I'm going to give you a homework task. You might like to write a homework task of this same question type. Essentially, you'll be able to learn from this. Read my model answer to understand how I write this type of essay, and then you practice writing one to check your understanding and to see if you can do it. If you would like me to assess your writing, I have an IELTS writing correction service. I'll put details about that below this video. So today we're looking at an outweigh essay. This is the second of the opinion kinds of questions that you might have to answer in your test. The previous video was about agree, disagree essays. You might like to have a look at that one later as well. Now, at the top of your screen, the 2 first questions are the kind of question we're looking at today. Now, you can tell it's an outweigh question because you'll see the word outweigh in the instructions. In your task instructions will be this word outweigh. So, a couple of common types of questions you might see are, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Or, do you think the positives outweigh the negatives? Now, you can also know that this is an opinion question because of the word you. And when you see the word you in the question, you can use words like I, me, and my. And in fact, you should be using these words. You've been asked for your opinion, and you should be giving your opinion. This is not about what other people might think. That's off topic and not relevant. The question is, what do you believe? Now, at the bottom of your screen, you can see some of the other kinds of opinion questions, the non-extent questions. Questions like, do you agree or disagree? What is your opinion? To what extent do you agree or disagree? Now, the big difference in these 2 types of questions is the ones that we're going to look at today, the extent questions, need to be responded to by addressing both the advantages and disadvantages or the positives and negatives. This is kind of indicated by the question. The question indicates that you should be covering both. The ones down the bottom of the screen, the ones that I dealt with last time, could be dealt with in another way. You could totally agree and then only give reasons why you agree. But with today's question, we're going to have to look at both sides of the topic. Now, here's our sample task. And with these instructions, you always want to divide them into 2. The first part is the topic, and the second part are the question words for you to respond to. The topic is, currently, many people are working from home instead of going to an office. And then the question words are, do you think the advantages of working from home outweigh the disadvantages? Now, outweigh means which one do you think is stronger, the advantages or the disadvantages? For my plan, I'm going to favor the advantages, and I'm going to have 2 advantages and 1 disadvantage. Now, the merits of this plan are that I have a mathematical outweigh. If I have 2 advantages and 1 disadvantage, I've got a mathematical outweigh. It's easier for the reader to see why I believe the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, because we've got the mathematical outweigh. This is a great thing to do for this type of essay. It can avoid a feeling from the reader of, oh, why does he say the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? It seems to me like, from what he's written, the disadvantages might be stronger. And that might happen when you have, say, 2 reasons or 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages, right? So that's one reason why I like to have 2 advantages, 1 disadvantage. Another reason is it will help keep our essay a bit shorter, and I favour shorter essays. We want to make sure we write 250 words, but we don't want to go too far over this. I would suggest you try and keep your essays under 320 words. And the reason for this is you want to make sure you can finish on time, and you want to give yourself plenty of time to proofread what you've written and find out some of the small errors you've made and correct them. Moving on to the structure for this type of essay, we're going to have 5 body paragraphs. Now, this is the only essay where I use 5 body paragraphs. The other 5 question types, I only use 4 body paragraphs. And the reason for this is we've got 3 main ideas for this essay. So we want to have 3 body paragraphs. We're going to have a body paragraph for each of the main ideas of this essay. Let's have a look first at the introduction and see what we're going to do in our introduction. Essentially, we need to do 2 things. First, we need to paraphrase the topic. This shows the examiner that you understand what the topic is, and it's an opportunity to show talent with paraphrase, which is a way of boosting your score for vocabulary. One of the requirements of Band 7 is that you show an ability to paraphrase, and this is your golden opportunity, because this is where the examiner is looking to see how well you've paraphrased the topic. The other thing we want to do is tell the reader what the essay is about. In other words, respond to the question words. Let's take a look now at how I've written the introduction. First, I start off with my paraphrase. Presently, a significant number of people are opting to work remotely from home rather than commuting to an office setting. Then I give my response to the question, or in other words, telling the reader what the essay is about. I believe the merits of this surpass the drawbacks. You might have also noticed how I paraphrased the question words. Advantages are easily paraphrased into merits, benefits, positive aspects. Disadvantages can be paraphrased as drawbacks, downsides, and negative aspects. We can also paraphrase the word outweigh to surpass or exceed. I think it's well worth memorizing these phrases because it's an excellent way to boost your score for vocabulary for this type of question. And a lot of the time in part 3 of your speaking test, you're asked questions about advantages and disadvantages. So you'll have some great words for your speaking test as well. Moving on to body paragraphs, we're going to want to start each body paragraph with a topic sentence. The topic sentence should indicate to the reader whether the paragraph is about an advantage or disadvantage. And it should also include what that advantageous or disadvantage point is. So we want to have a clear topic sentence that guides the reader. In other words, we're putting the main idea in the first sentence, and then subsequently we want to develop this idea. We can develop our ideas by explaining them and also by adding examples to illustrate them. Let's take a look at my first body paragraph. The main benefit of working from home is that it saves time. So we're telling the reader that it's about a benefit, and the benefit is saving time. Then I go on to develop this idea. In particular, it eliminates the need for a daily commute to an office. For example, due to COVID lockdowns, I am now working from home, and I save over 2 hours per day by not having to commute to my office. This extra time can be used for other things, such as spending more time with family, exercising, or even taking on a new hobby. Then we're going to want to move on and give another advantage in a new paragraph. We're going to start this paragraph with a linking word to indicate to the reader that we're giving another benefit. I'm going to use the word furthermore, right? So the last paragraph started with the phrase, the main merit is, and now I'm using the word furthermore to indicate that another advantage is coming. Let's have a closer look. Furthermore, working from one's residence can also lead to higher productivity. So now I've introduced the next idea, higher productivity. Now I need to develop it. Again, I can develop main ideas by explaining them and illustrating them with an example. Let's have a closer look. This is because it eliminates the distractions that come with working in an office environment, like noise and colleagues interrupting. For example, since I started working from home, I no longer get interrupted by my co-workers chatting or stopping by my desk to ask me unnecessary questions. Now we're going to want the third body paragraph. Now this is going to be about a disadvantage, and we want to signal this to the reader. We want to signal that we've switched from advantages to disadvantage, and we can do this with the word however. Let's have a closer look. However, a drawback is that it is harder to communicate with colleagues. So I've used the word however to indicate that I'm switching onto the disadvantages, and I've given my disadvantage, harder to communicate with colleagues. Now I'm going to develop my idea. This is due to not meeting face to face and having to communicate online. This can lead to less effective communication and even misunderstanding of co-workers' real intentions. To illustrate, it can be difficult to know someone's true feelings without seeing their body language. It's time to conclude our essay. We want to do a few things in the conclusion. First of all, start it with a linking phrase. I like in conclusion. I think this is the best phrase. I use it for all 6 of my essay types. I suggest you use this phrase as well, in conclusion. Then we're going to want to restate our opinion. Make sure that the reader remembers what our opinion is. Then we're going to summarize the reasons for our opinion, and then provide some sort of final statement. The final statement is optional, and I only really recommend it for people who are trying to get to band 8 and above. Let me read out the whole conclusion for you. In conclusion, I believe the benefits of working from home exceed the downsides. This is because the merits of being able to avoid the daily commute to the office and to be more focused on work surpass the difficulty of interacting with others. Furthermore, technology is emerging to assist with communicating more effectively from home, such as video conferencing and the metaverse. So the first sentence tells the reader what my opinion is again. Then the second sentence summarizes the points from my essay. The final sentence gives a final statement based on that summary. And effectively what that is a statement about how the drawback that I identified about communication might possibly be mitigated or dealt with. This kind of strengthens my opinion a bit about why I think the merits outweigh the drawbacks. Remember, I've got 2 merits and only 1 drawback, and then I'm sort of saying, well, maybe this 1 disadvantage isn't even that much of a problem even. Now I'm putting the entire essay on your screen. You might like to pause the video and have a good read of it, or alternatively, remember, you can download the PDF using the link below in the description to this video. Now it is on to our homework. For homework, I suggest that you read the sample essay for this type in the PDF. Then you could go on and do the homework task for this type of essay. It's a good idea to do the homework task because this will check your understanding. This will make you think throughout each part of the essay about what it is you need to do. And then if you're not sure, let's say you're not sure how to write your conclusion, you can look back to my sample essay and see what I did. Now, if you want to take it a step further, you could send me your task to correct. I have a correction service. There's a small charge for doing this. I'll put details underneath in the description to the video. Anyway, so your homework topic or task is as follows. Some museums and art galleries charge admission fees, while others have free entry. Do you think the advantages of free admission outweigh the disadvantages? Make sure you subscribe to me so that you'll get updates as I release these videos. You might also be interested in having a look at my writing book, my writing correction service, and also just head over to my website. I've got loads of model answers for not only essays but also task 1 reports and task 1 letters. Reading model answers is an extremely effective way to improve your writing. Best of luck preparing for your IELTS writing test.